Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Celebration Machine. I'm your host, Pete Hammond. It's funny that we say everyone because there's usually one person watching. So, hello, friend. Welcome. Thank you for spending time with me. I'm Pete. This is my first attempt at making a video, so please bear with me. One day we'll all look back at this video and say that's where it started. And boy, was that dog shit. Anyway, Celebration Machine. What's it all about? I've got notes, but this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And I've been avoiding it, overthinking it, like most people that try and do this YouTube thing. But today, even though I'm sick, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. I apologize for the blown out voice and the piss poor recording. Probably we're going to do our best. But anyways, what's the Celebration Machine all about? It's about life, death, meaning, and everything in between. I'd eventually like to get some guests on here. I'd like to talk to people. I'm very interested in those spaces, for lack of a better word. I love spiritual stuff. I love exploring human consciousness, but I also like to explore it from a little bit more of a down to earth, maybe blue collar, or just less woohoo perspective. I'm a believer in many things, but I do like to have some kind of scientific background behind it. Although there's lots of things that science can't explain. And there's certainly a lot of smart people, smarter than me, trying to explain certain things. But I feel that everything is changing at a very fast pace right now, and I want to be involved. I really want to be a part of it. So that's why I started the Celebration Machine. So why this podcast exists, I kind of told you that. I care about this stuff a lot. I work as a building operator, commercial building operator. I take care of warehouses and stuff, and I run into a lot of people, and I end up having a lot of conversations. And oftentimes, those conversations end up being about life and what people are going through and how people experience life, because all of us experience life in many different ways, depending on how we grew up, what our influences are, what kind of programming we have, for lack of a better word, and how our experiences have shaped us. So I get into a lot of really cool conversations with a lot of really neat people. It is a blue collar background. I'm in commercial warehousing, so I take care of warehouses, but I'm also a funeral celebrant. I'm an officiant, which is why, it's called the Celebration Machine, because I've spent my life helping other people. First as a wedding guy, I've married all my friends, and now I've started to bury them and their families. But we'll get into that in another video, how I got into all that. So the Celebration Machine is going to be a space where we get to have some interesting conversations, hopefully with people, and I'll be doing videos by myself as well. I'm going to talk a lot about different things, but I hope that it's a place where people can feel welcome and participate. So the deeper, I guess, meaning or idea behind it is I really want to be more involved in the shaping of the world, as cheesy as that sounds, and in the conversations that do that. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. What can you expect? Again, conversations with interesting humans, raw, unpolished. I'll do my best to make this sound and look good. Right now, I'm in my basement office, and it is what it is. But you got to start somewhere. Again, I'm going to talk about stories from being a funeral celebrant and just the experiences I've had doing that, but just about life. I've been, I had cancer when I was 21. I lost my mind before that. And my life has really been an exploration of consciousness. And I've always been a student of life. I've always been very interested in just how things work, and how people work. I really continue, I guess, at 52 years old to be that way. Um, it's going to be fun. I like humor. I've done stand up. I've been a comedian. And that's kind of my love language is just through comedy. And there's going to be short episodes, long episodes, occasional guests. And it's really just a place to, let me see what I wrote, raise the frequency and explore what it means to be alive. So raise the frequency and explore what it means to be alive. I think we can all get behind that. Division. So my goal is simple. It's to help people wake up a little bit. Not that I'm some kind of awakened person, but I am a student of life, and I do kind of feel my way through this more than I think my way through it. And I just want to explore life with curiosity instead of fear. I'm not here to create clickbait, and I'm not here to make people uncomfortable. Maybe some of the things you're going to hear on this channel will make you uncomfortable in a sense. When you talk about death, especially, people get uncomfortable, but there's a lot of beauty in that, and there's a lot of power in those conversations, and those are the ones I like to have. So hopefully you can come along for that. I want to bring humor and depth to these conversations. I want to, when you work as an officiant and when you're working with, bereaved families and people that are going through the most horrible day of their lives, you don't have to, but my style is I do bring humor to it, and I try and bring levity respectfully and well timed, because it's one thing to be the officiant or the person, for those who don't know what that means. So if you don't have a priest running a funeral, you can hire someone like me, an officiant. And basically my job is to make that experience be as meaningful as possible, to keep the family, to get them to a point where they can enjoy, for lack of a better word, the hardest day of their life, or fairly certainly a difficult day, especially when it's a young person or suicide or something really tragic. I mean, it's sad to lose old people. We love everyone, but there are some funerals that are a hell of a lot harder than others. And my job is to bring the family to a place where we can really connect with the experience in an honest way, in a meaningful way, and for me to guide them through that. Oh, yeah, there's some pretty crazy conversations to be had about that, but I just want to make the world a little lighter. It's been pretty crazy the past few years. I think we can all agree that being on planet Earth, we're definitely in some kind of a transition period. I watch a lot of content of the spiritual nature. I like the whole exploration of consciousness, spirituality, and psychics and all that kind of crazy stuff. All the alien stuff, and but mostly I'm really interested in the frequency thing. And I think that is something that is happening right now, and it's tangible. Like, people that normally aren't into that space are noticing it. So those are the sorts of things I want to talk about. And basically, I'm not trying to sell anything. I just really want to sort of throw my hat in the ring, to meet and talk to very interesting people, and not just guests on the show, people that show up in the comments. And if you have ideas or questions, or you want to talk to me about certain things, or you want to you're interested in things and would love to explore it more, hopefully I can grow this to a point where I can do that, and I can make that happen. If you want to talk about something interesting, or you want to be on the show, drop a line, say hi. Love to talk to you. I'm not trying to deliver wisdom. I'm just trying to get to the truth of things. And truth is subjective, and we all have a different opinion of what that is. I'm not a guru. I'm a guy who's had a lot of experience in a lot of different places in life. But I'm a student. I'm a jujitsu guy as well. I've been training jujitsu for years and years. I'm getting Shark Tank for my brown belt on the 6th of December. And my mentality in that process has always been white belt. Be a student, be an open-minded learner. And so I'm not going to be here trying to tell you how to do anything, but I'm certainly going to be exploring lots of ways to do things. So the Celebration Machine name actually came from my first hearse. I own a hearse, a 1980 Cadillac hearse, which is in really bad shape right now. It's living in the barn. I live on a farm, just so you know. But I used to call it the Celebration Machine. And even though this show is going to touch a whole lot of things, I want to celebrate life. And I used to be, driving that hearse, and then people would pull up. I'd stop at the stoplights, and people would be like, looking at the car all weird. It's baby blue, white vinyl top. And people would see it and be like, what, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, man, when I drive this car, I feel alive. This is a celebration machine. This isn't a death machine. This isn't a, sad or negative thing. So that's where the celebration machine came from, was, I used to call my car that. So I figured that'd be the name of this podcast or this YouTube channel, because I want to celebrate life, and by showing up and asking tough questions and having difficult conversations. But just because they're difficult or the subject matter might be tough, doesn't mean we can't laugh, we can't have fun, and we can't enjoy ourselves, while riding the rock through space, as we all are right now. So that's it. Don't want to take too much of your time. Thank you for watching this video. I do appreciate it. Time is valuable, even though apparently it's a man-made concept. We'll get into that. But I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day, out of your life, to watch this video. And I hope that you get to stick around. And I hope this thing grows and we can have some fun and explore this crazy thing called life. Thanks very much. I'm Pete. This is the Celebration Machine. Talk to you later.